Hey guys, back to another YouTube video. Today it's a video a lot of y'all have been asking about, and that's me explaining the difference between all these knives. Now visually they may look the same, but after close inspecting each and every one of them, they're actually each slightly different than the other. Now the two that I'm not going to include in this video, or three I mean, is these three right here. Since these are not the exact same knives. This is the Hawkbill, this is the electrician's knife, and this is the Barlow. These I'm not going to count because they're not exactly the same. So put these back. So the first features I'm going to look at is the blades of each knife. So let's get them open. This is the Ulster. This is the Camillus. This is the Western. This is the Imperial. This is the Charade. Alright, and this is the Queen's. Now visually they may look the same, but they're actually each blade is slightly different than the other. Now the two you may think look exactly the same are these two. Turns out they're not exactly the same, so let me put these to the side real quick. The difference between the Camillus version and the Charade version is a lot of things. One, the nail nicks are different. If you begin to notice, this nail nick is almost an inch longer than this nail nick. So that's the first main difference. Now, shape-wise, the shape of the blade is almost the exact same. Both have a full flat grind. So that's mainly it. And the US stamp is almost exactly the same, but there's a little bit of a difference. On the Camillus version, it's very lightly punched in. And on the Charade version, the letters are a little bit bigger and more punched in. That's the main difference between the lettering. And as far as how it's put together, it's completely the same. All three pins are made the exact same way. So that's mainly it. Now, tool-wise, I think most likely they're all the same. Yep, there's the awl. And there's the awl on that one. So tool-wise, these two are exactly the same. It's just two main differences is the lettering and the blades. Besides that, these two are still exactly the same besides those two main details. So that's those. Next is comparing the Camillus knife, making sure this is the same one. Yep. Comparing the Camillus knife to the Queen's knife. Now, once again, visually, they may look the same, but they're actually very different. The way they stamped the word US is actually a lot different than the way they stamped the word US on the Camillus version. This version, the letters are a little bit bigger and a little bit wider spaced. That's the main difference. And then if you begin to notice, flip them this way, when they're open, this one tilts a little bit this way, rather as the Camillus sticks straight up. Now that is how the Queen's knives were issued. Those were not a factory default. That's the main difference. And another difference is the nail nicks, of course. This nail nick is 1 inch longer than this one, and the blade width is a lot wider. Like, let me get my tape measure real quick. Where did I put my tape measure? Oh, there it is. Let's see how wide the Camillus blade is right at the base. Yeah, it's about a half. Yeah, this one's at least 1 inch wider than this one, so that's the other main difference. And once again, this is another difference, is the bales on both knives. This one is more rounded. This one is flat. See if I can get a close-up. If you can see the difference, this is rounded, this is flat all the way around. That's another difference. And again, that's mainly the difference. I mean, the awl is almost basically the same. It's just a tad bigger. Basically, the Queen's version is a lot bigger than the average Camillus version. So that's the main difference. But then, of course, all the tools are still exactly the same as the Camillus. And how it's put together is still exactly the same. So besides the blades, the two bales, and the US stamp, those are the differences. but otherwise it's still the exact same knife in a way. That and the blade width is different. So that's the difference between the Queen's one and the Camillus one. Next, the difference between the Western one and the Camillus one. Now, the Western one, the one thing that struck me odd right off the back is how the blade is ground. Now, if you see the Camillus knife, it has a full flat grind. The edge goes all the way to the back. And when you look at the Western knife, it's grounded a lot different. It's got what I can call, what do they call that? Ooh, I forgot what it's called. More of a plunge grind-ish, where they didn't grind the whole blade, but they grounded at least part of the blade. That's the main difference. And then, of course, once again, the nail nick. That and the blade on the Camillus and the blade on the Western's a little bit thicker than the Camillus. So once again, the blade is different. But other than that, the US stamp is almost identically the same. The only difference is the letters on this one is just a tad bigger. That's the main difference. The letters are bigger, but other than that, the two bales are the same and the tools are identically the same. So that's the main difference on those, comparing the Western to the Camillus. Next is comparing the Imperial version to the Camillus version. Once again, the way they stamped, this is different. As you can see, this is actually a lot deeper stamped than this is, where it's almost flush with the grips. That's another main difference between these two. This is lightly punched in, like someone just took it and punched it once and then moved on to the next one. And then this one is punched a lot deeper, like if they used a machine, which I wouldn't be surprised. Now, the bales are the same. That's the main detail. And once again, the nail nicks are different. As you notice with the Camillus knife, the nail nick is almost right to the tip of the knife. And the nail nick on this one is right in the middle of the knife. Now, personally, I prefer it that way because it makes it easier to grab. That's what I prefer that way. So, in the tool-wise, there is a little bit of a difference, which is not much. Like I said, the two USA stamps are different. And, of course, the main thing is the bottle opener. Let me get both of them out. As you can see, at first they look almost alike, but you notice this little tab right here. A lot of these did not have this tab except for a couple of them, which the other one I'm about to show. That tab mainly is the difference between the Camillus version, which has no tab, and the Imperial version, which does have a tab. That's the main difference. But besides that, both bales are the same, and the other tools are exactly the same. Still got the two awls, and still got the two can openers. And the other main difference I actually just noticed is how they stamped the word can opener. Let me get that up. Pull this one out too. Now, if you notice, well, actually, I just realized half of this is broken. I keep forgetting that. This part of this is broken, so that's the main difference why this sticks down a lot more than this does. But once again, the main difference between the Imperial is that this can opener is slightly bigger than this one. So once again, this is just a little bit bigger than the average Camillus version. Otherwise, it's put together exactly the same. The two nail nicks are different. The two can openers, no, let me phrase that, bottle openers are different. But besides that, once again, it's still almost the exact same. Even the way they ground the blade is the same. A full flat grind. Now, the only difference is this one's got more width to it, which probably could mean because this has been sharpened once or twice. But that's the main difference, is the nail nicks and the two bottle openers. So that's the main difference. And last but not least is the Ulster version compared to the Camillus version. Now, once again, the thing you notice right off the back is the nail nicks are different. This one is a lot bigger and deeper to the blade than this one is. That's the main difference between these two. And I can't really say much about the blade because this blade has been sharpened. When I got it, it was actually like that. And then I actually put this bale on myself, so I can't really compare the bales because I don't know what the original bale on this looked like. So that one I can't really count because I put that on there. But once again, the main difference is the lettering between these. The lettering on this looks like it may have been stamped twice instead of one giant stamp like this one's got. So that's the main difference as well, is these two. And once again, just like the Imperial, the bottle openers are a lot different too, because this one has actually got the tab too. This one doesn't. So once again, that's the main difference. Is this one's got a tab right here on the bottle opener. This one doesn't. But tool-wise, they're almost the exact same. Once again, the other difference is the can opener in this one is just a little bit bent more than this can opener. That's another difference. So that's mainly it, is the nail nicks are different, the bottle openers are different, and the two can openers are different. But besides that, that's all the differences between them all. I would love to know who was the name of the guy who designed this pocket knife for the military. Because, I mean, it's a very simple design for a camp knife, and it works great, and so many companies made it. Now, one person can say, well, Camillus made it. Well, that doesn't really make sense because the military designed the K-bar knife, but K-bar does not own that design. The military does. Anyway, that's all the differences between them all. And once again, these will never be put for sale. And once again, if there's any other brand that has made this knife that I don't know about, please let me know in the comments, because I'm trying to collect one of every brand that the military had issued. So, and once again, y'all can thank my dad for helping me get a couple of these, because he helped me get a couple of these, so y'all better thank him. So that's the main thing, and I guess I hope y'all have enjoyed the video, and as always, stay sharp.